tea. Like,
I mean, you're making the assumption this is the first cup of tea I've had, which clearly, I mean, first of all, I don't have this cup of tea yet, but even if I did, it wouldn't be the first cup of tea I've had today. Obviously, it would be one of many, is what I would say about that.
I feel like you probably need, like, you know how the Yanks have got that fucking drip coffee on their desk? You need like one of those, but tea.
Wait, what?
You know, you
Yeah.
got like that the pot, the fucking coffee pot. It's just like dripping coffee in there.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean that's called a teapot, and we have actually invented that technology. That is a thing.
Good for you. Yeah.
So there is that.
Good for you.
Yeah, I guess that hasn't made it down under yet. Hello and welcome to Game of Nodes, a weekly podcast from independent validator teams. And that's a doggo.
Oh, still no sound. Oh,
Still
dude.
no sound. 1 week, there's no sound on one end, and then there's iCloud notifications on the other end. And
Noel's taking a phone call. You and me, buddy.
Sheer embarrassment.
Maybe we should hop on the stream more than 2 minutes after when it's supposed to start, just to like iron out these things, like turn off notifications and make sure the microphone works and make our tea. Like usually we start that process at 21:02. I'm saying we back it up 10 minutes.
So here's the thing, right? Yes, I was late. Yeah. Okay. I accept that. But at least in my defense, my microphone was on and worked first time, and notifications are silenced on the laptop. Like, it's a low bar. Like, I fully accept that. That is 100% the case. But, and I've been delivered a cup of tea.
Oh, look at that.
It turns out just being generally incompetent in life.
People take pity on you?
It is pity, isn't it? It is pity. There's no point pretending it's anything other than pity. I'll duck out in a minute.
The ones who love you realize that you're incompetent and somehow step in.
Yeah,
to fix things. Yes.
Yeah, a little bit of several things, I suppose. Possibly. Well, so
just laughing at Noel's camera.
So there is some bullshit on these things. So when you do something else on your phone, you can't like get the camera back. So I'm gonna have to like, I don't know, disconnect it and reconnect it. Or I think last time I had to like leave the studio and come back.
You might need to try hitting the little camera icon in Chrome to have it reassociate any sort of permissions. Maybe sometimes that happens. The one in the menu bar. But yes. I mean, the moral of that story is like, don't take a phone call in the middle of a stream. But I mean, away from that, I mean, otherwise you're right. And now, so Schultz, tell me your mic works because everybody else has left. Oh my goodness.
The mic is picking up right now, which I think is my camera mic.
That is definitely your camera mic. Yep, for sure. Yep.
So is the thing just like fraught with problems, or
what? The stream? Yes, the stream is fraught with problems. You're sounding great now. You're good. Schultz got the wrong mic.
I always sounded good. So. Oh, you're talking about Schultz. Okay.
Okay. Did it register now? It might have registered now.
Nope, wrong mic. All right, keep trying.
It's like a weekly thing with Schultz.
That's why we keep this.
It's like the wrong mic. The mic doesn't work. It flicks over to his headphones.
Honestly, if we didn't have these issues, this show would only be 60 minutes long, so it's all good.
You know, I think it's actually my cable because I keep having.
Yeah, that's definitely it. Whatever you just touched there went bad.
Well, it like muted, right? Why does it say it's muted?
Because it might have maybe because it saw the mic change or something, or it saw the mic disappear, so maybe it automatically does something. All right. Hey, we're back.
Like cable's fucked or something. Are you kicking the
Yeah,
cable, bro?
Well, no wasn't
No.
here. It kind of seemed like an opportune moment to go get snacks from the cupboard.
Yeah, just leave me alone. That's fine. We did it. We're good.
It's all right.
Ah.
This is live broadcasting. Like a lot of funny things have happened. You know, like on radio, they used to have specific like songs they used to go to that were long enough that they could go for a piss. If they
Yes.
were like broadcasting solo. I feel like
It does
probably
feel
not.
like broadcasting solid, doesn't it?
Oh, I was going to say this might not be a real fact, but it's one that I kind of remember it being in a documentary, but like I don't know if that's like a false memory, but I feel like there was a thing about how one of the first Rush songs to like get played on the radio was short enough to be played on the radio, but long enough that presenters were like, shit, I can sneak out and go for a piss. And that was part of the popularity of the song. But maybe that's not true. I don't know. A bigger Rush fan than me would have to correct me on that one.
I don't think that's true. I don't think it's a Rush one. But I think it is referencing a real situation. But I think it's them. Like no, I don't think it was like a 21-12 situation or somebody when it took a shit for 20 minutes or
Oh
something.
yeah, because like wasn't the first Rush song got some radio play like Working Man or something? Which
it might
is
have been.
not-
Yeah. That was 74. That's like 7.5, 8 minutes if I remember.
Is it?
something.
It's
Yeah,
not that long. No, but there must have been a radio edit. There's no way they
6.5.
played it.
6.5, 7.
Oh, maybe it's true then.
I'm going from memory here, but it's definitely the longest song off the original album.
Oh yeah. Well, but was there a radio? Oh, okay. We're going into
706. Boom.
Boom.
Right there.
Holy
There
shit.
we go.
Write in on the comments if you think there is a radio edit of Working Man. I don't know.
I don't think there is.
I've playing a 7-minute long song.
But that was the day of 7-minute songs, right? I'm like, that's
Well, I
like
guess
what?
so,
So
but,
that's 74. What Zeppelin album is that?
is it
That's-
Presence?
No, way before that.
Oh no, because Presence was like 78, wasn't it?
That's when they're already done. They're wrapping up. That's like in
Right.
Through the Outdoor when nobody showed up and shit. Like
Ho-
that's like around.
hold
that time.
up. Achilles' Last Stand is not nobody showed up.
No, I'm not saying that. Great fucking album. Like, but so A House of the Holy is 73, I think. Yeah. So that's
okay.
yeah. And Zeppelin
All
4
right,
71.
well, that you know,
Physical
Zeppelin
Graffiti
have
71.
barely started going prog at that point.
Yeah, but like you have No Quarter. That's 7 minutes.
Like-
Rain Song 7 minutes, and then right after that is Physical Graffiti,
Oh,
which
shit,
means
yeah,
and you
Rain
even
Song
had
was on there, isn't it?
yeah,
That's
and you
fucking long.
even at that point you had shit. You probably had what do you call it? Cashmere it was like 9 minutes or something. That would have been 70. That would have been around the same time. So I think it's a lot of shit going on there. It's 7-8 minutes.
What's
Yeah,
interesting
all right.
about that is that's also true of movie lengths. Movie lengths capped out in the 70s for how long they are, and then they've been actually decreasing in length ever since. So
Except for what do you call it? Scorsese movies.
yeah, I mean there's outliers of course, but the average length of the movie is actually lower than it was in the 60s and 70s. Because there was like they're still trying to figure out okay how long can we do it? Because then there's also the period in which you do a double feature when there would be 2 movies back to back and you just kind of wander in and out.
Right.
They're still kind of getting used to that whole situation. Now that's not a thing anymore, barring some theaters. But then they had to reduce length and blah 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 blah.
It's definitely your cable. Like it's like
Is it still on
yeah.
paying now?
It's like it just cuts in and out every once in a while. So it's definitely something like it definitely sounds something physical.
okay.
Physical.
All right, I'll see if this uses like one of those mini USBs, the ones that has like the different ridges and stuff on it. So I don't really have a replacement cable for it on hand. Yeah, dude,
Suffer.
what are you doing?
We'll make through it.
Yeah.
So here we are.
So I noticed the spreadsheet is like this week. Has our researcher quit?
He was on the piss instead of doing his job.
What does that mean exactly?
Typical Australian.
They've been drunk all week.
Hey? What do you
What is
mean?
What does that term
Is
mean
that a
exactly?
question?
Yeah, that's a question. What does that term mean?
On the piss?
Yeah,
On the piss.
it's not really
That's
not
an
really common
English
here.
phrase as well. We say that. Out on the piss.
Get on the piss.
Yeah. You get on
Okay.
it. The it being the piss. Yeah, Ben Davis is here. There you go. Ben's in the chat.
You can't define the phrase by just repeating the phrase over and over. That doesn't work that way.
Ben knows what being on the piss is. That's
I'm
pretty
sure he
standard.
does. I'm
I'm sure Ben's been on the piss. You know, who hasn't?
Probably on the piss right now.
Look, to be fair, most of the people who tune into the live stream are on the. Speaking of on the piss, I guess our Christmas show is next week, right? Next Wednesday.
Shit, is it? Yeah, it is the 20th. I guess so.
Next Wednesday, I may be joining from the beach. What date is that?
Jeez.
21. Fuck, I'll be in the car. I'll be joining you from the car.
I have the vague feeling that there's something in my calendar next Wednesday that isn't this, but I don't know, man. It's probably fine. Wait. Am I going to go see Die Hard at the cinema next Wednesday?
That sounds
cinema.
That sounds awesome.
That sounds fucking plausible. Last year I went. I did the same thing. There was like an independent cinema not too far from me showing Die Hard, and just like a pizza night.
Yeah,
it was great. It's a great film.
Oh shit, they're doing that here too.
I almost watched Die Hard last night. It comes up every year. It comes up in the Christmas films section.
It's a Christmas film.
It's rated R. I mean, it's rated R maybe for language.
Rated
There's nothing
R for radical.
I'm trying to think if I should drag my 10 and 12-year-olds to this. I see no reason why not to.
Oh yeah, that was.
I mean, there's nothing.
You show them
nudity,
Gun,
right?
You show them like Top Gun, right?
They have seen. Yeah, sure, they've seen Top Gun.
It's no more violent than Top Gun. And
Top Gun is like PG-13 though. I got with
what?
I think their rating though is like
13.
from the 80s. It's like an 80s R, which is like a PG-13, like a hard PG-13.
It's like a G now. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
80s. I know exactly what you mean by 80s R. Like now you look at it, like what were they worried about? Somebody said fuck. Like, that was it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
what? They
I
hit
don't
somebody.
know about Australia and America, but like in England, there was like, I guess it must have just been like quite cheap to license Die
Yeah.
Hard for a while there. And like at the end of the 90s, it was just like they just needed a movie that was recognizable and that had like sleigh bells in it somewhere, right? And like kind of just after work time, like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. No, it would have been 7 o'clock after the watershed. So they're allowed to show violence and stuff. Because there's like you're not allowed to show violence on TV until after 7, I think. The watershed is at 7. So Die Hard would always be on, like on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
It was just a cheap film to show after people who've just got off work. They've only just got off on Christmas Eve. They just want to throw something on. It's got some sleigh bells in it, some one-liners, whatever. And it was literally always on. So like every year, I've always watched Die Hard with my dad just before Christmas.
I mean,
then
it's a
now
great
it's
movie.
like the big, everyone's like, hang on, wait, is Die Hard a Christmas film? And you're like, yeah, obviously.
it definitely is.
They've literally been showing it on the national broadcaster for fucking 20 years.
Well,
The
they knew
day
it
before
then.
Christmas.
And then they made the second one, which was basically, wasn't it on Christmas Day when they took over the little church thing and like we're
No,
at the
so it's
airport and all that shit? That was
Christmas
Christmas Eve or something, wasn't
Well,
it?
the first one's like Christmas as well. Anyway,
That's Christmas.
so-
Yeah,
The
it's
first
Christmas
one is
party.
Like
I don't know.
2 days. Yeah, it's the Christmas party, so it's a few days
Yeah.
before Christmas. But the Die Hard 2 is the morning of Christmas Eve, isn't it? It's the night of the night before Christmas,
Right.
and it happens all into Christmas Eve, and it ends on the morning of Christmas Eve, doesn't it? In the middle of the night.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, that was probably the best marketing for that movie is the fact that it was at Christmas, so it can get played at Christmas every fucking year.
I wonder how much money it's made. Probably a few bob.
Couple of bucks. Oh joy! There's been another fucking update for the Kujira feeder. Yay!
Well, good for you,
Awesome.
man. How exciting.
You treat yourself. I've just seen in the chat, Ben Davis has said the Cosmos Hub governance should decide whether or not Die Hard
They
is
should.
Christmas
They
Christmas
should.
film or not.
They
Yeah, we're
should.
completely rational about it. Hey,
What's the Nakamoto Tower coefficient associated to the Cosmos Hub?
hey, this guy.
Boom, boom.
Boom, boom, boom. Bring out the
Boom,
finger
boom.
guns.
Yay.
Oh my god,
That's like a
Someone's
mix
already-
of,
someone's
that's like a
already gearing
crypto
up.
dad joke.
Someone's already
That's fucking-
gearing up for their Christmas.
That's
Fucking
pretty
hell.
good. What's the
That's,
Nakamoto Tower
yeah.
coefficient?
Yeah, I've got to find a way of weaseling that into a.
You're gonna work it in? Your PhD?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You're gonna be a hit around the water cooler.
There's not
a bunch of
water
tweet.
cooler with these kind of budget cuts. No, I don't know. I don't think This may not surprise you. I don't know if I'm that popular in my
in the Tweed circle. You're not very popular in the circle of Tweed.
Well, people don't really seem to. Not many people seem to reply to my emails, and I don't know if that's just because they're busy, right? And one of the first times I went and took up a desk, which I was like given the key to the room, and it's like my supervisor's room, whatever, and it's like kind of darkly. Somebody died over there, and then this is a free desk. I think actually that was a misspeak, and it was the person who had that desk has died, which is also dark. But
I'm not dead yet.
just anyway.
I think I'll go
But yeah,
for a
I
walk.
was sitting down for like 5 minutes, and somebody came in and was like, "How dare you sit at that desk?" I'm like, "Oh Jesus Christ, I'm just
Really?
out of my depth here."
Wow.
I was like, I just need a place to fucking plug in a laptop power supply, man.
Well, try that Nakamoto Tower coefficient joke.
Yeah.
Might get you some points around there.
Just be like, "How's that Nakamoto Tower coefficient working out for you?" And they'll be like,
Merry
"I
Christmas.
have no idea what you're talking about. Get off this floor."
He stole my desk, but I like the phrase. He's got a good sense of humor.
He stole my desk. He made fun of my pocket protector
And my tweed jacket.
and my tweed jacket. No, you know what? I'm not sure I've seen any tweed jackets.
No tweed jackets? Not in the crypto arm, right? Not in this. That's on the other side.
No, I think the tweed jackets is just like generic posh English
Is it?
people, right? It's quite
I thought it was
barber
more a
jacket
professor
thing.
thing. I was actually hitting on the professor, not so much the English.
All right.
I don't know.
I think tweed is more of like an affectation you can kind of find more liberally sprinkled through the upper and middle classes in this country, maybe. Especially anybody who maybe remotely has a Scottish relative. That's yeah. You sometimes see that when people get married. It's like that. I've seen that a couple of times where there's like people have got their tartan and it's like, I didn't know you were Scottish.
I can't think.
Oh,
I
great,
don't even know what
great.
professors look like anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's a little bit like, no offense, but it's a little bit like some American people who are like, oh yeah, I'm Irish, and you're like, oh right, when did your family come over? And they're like, oh, 150 years ago, and you're like,
You're like, oh, okay. So it's been a while.
yeah, it's been a little while then.
My English professor that would remind me of like Donald Sutherland in Animal House or something like that. Just like sitting around, talking crypto, passing a joint.
Wait, didn't you do engineering though? Like you did a serious like there's probably no tweed in engineering. It was
There was
probably
no tweed.
all crisp
No.
white shirts and
Mhm.
those
There was.
thick black glasses.
More specifically, short sleeve crisp white shirts. That would be it, with or without tie. Usually with tie, short sleeve, pressed.
Yep. Straight out of the costume, the department for the right stuff,
That is exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. It's not like the control room out in the right stuff, right? When they're all standing around. Yeah. 100%.
That's a good Christmas movie recommend for everybody.
I love that movie.
It's a 9 out of 10.
Easily. Yeah. Easily.
There's
Yeah.
one or two, I think it's about 10-20 minutes too long. They're probably going to cut. They go the slightly tighter cut. And there's like one or 2 points where the music has not dated well and it doesn't quite fit. I don't know if it fits the action perfectly. Those are my only two
Okay,
ads.
fair enough.
Apart from that, it's pretty much a perfect film.
Crazy
much.
great. Good. I mean, great star cast. Just, I don't know. It's probably an hour too long, actually. Isn't it like 3.5 or something?
No,
3?
no, it's 2.5. 2.5, no?
Oh, I thought it was longer than that. Because it's really 2 movies, right? I mean, you really have Edwards. You really have Edwards, that whole structure, and then you have everything after that. But
Null has not seen this film based on his expression.
oh, you should.
And indifference.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm like trying to
Really?
update my Gucci feeder.
Yeah, I have no idea.
And it has the greatest actor that's ever lived, which is guesses.
You about to say?
Oh, I think you're going to say it.
You about to say Ed Harris?
I am going to say Ed Harris.
Okay, so
I am
you're
gonna
an Ed
say Ed
Harris
Harris.
stan, huh?
Yeah, huge. Great fucking actor.
I mean, he's been in some good stuff.
He's been in some good stuff. He's
Oh,
a different
shit, and
he's a different
isn't
person in
he-
every one of those good stuff.
He's in Glengarry Glen Ross.
Yeah.
But his masterpiece, The Abyss, of course.
The Abyss. Well, I mean,
Director's cut or original, right?
I
That's
mean
the
that.
question.
I mean that is like that's like. I don't want to be a fan. I do like that movie, and even though I don't want to get beat up on it because of like Master Commander and all this type of shit, but that scene with him bringing what's her face back to life. What's her name? I forget what her name is. But pound on her chest and like when she's drowning and they like bring her back and he's fighting for her. I think that's like an amazing scene. If you remember that movie,
I think it's an underrated film. And I can't remember whether it's the
it just
original.
got silly. That's all.
Well, I
Yeah.
can't remember if it's the original or the director's cut where it has the really dark ending. I like that one.
I think that is the director because it's totally different, right? Like basically, yeah.
One of them is like na 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 na, it's all worked out, and the other one is like things did not pan out well when conflict was when conflict was found between the parties in this movie. Yeah, but the dark ending is good.
And now I need to go back and watch that. I don't remember. I think I've seen it, but I can't
So-
remember what happens. But anyway, great actor. Also, what was it? The first season of what was that HBO thing with the robot people and all that shit? Damn.
Wait, what?
There's HBO series with him acting in a. Oh my goodness! Why do I open my mouth before I know the answer for
Relatively
it?
recent. I've not seen
Yeah,
it, but I
yeah,
think
yeah,
I know the
yeah.
one you mean.
What actor?
Westworld.
Ed Harris.
No?
Oh, Westworld is
Westworld.
pretty
The
good. I wish
That's it, man. That's the one.
Man, they never really finished that.
It went to shit.
Yeah, only
Sorry.
season 1 was worth watching.
Sorry,
in my
spoiler.
opinion.
But yeah, the first season was like the best, and then
First season was great. Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Since we've stumbled onto James Cameron,
hmm
Alien or
Yep.
Aliens,
I mean, they're okay.
which one's better? You can only pick one. Only what? Two movies enter, only one leaves.
Honestly, I'm willing to go with Alien. Aliens is good, absolutely. I think that objectively it's better. I think that Alien more does it for me, just because like the historical context of it, I think makes it especially special. Aliens 2 is a better movie. Alien itself has a bigger cultural impact.
I knew you were going to say Alien.
That's what I mean.
because it is objectively the better, academically the better.
That
movie.
is the right answer. And yet, I'll say Bill Paxton was only an alien, so therefore it's Aliens.
I think and of course I would usurp.
Game
on
over, man. Like
this. Alien is the best movie.
by far, it is.
Alien
Is-
is the best movie. It is a masterpiece. There are so many things about it that are brilliant. The pacing,
100%.
ideas, the cultural impact,
The
set
stress,
design, the
everything.
music,
everything.
the dress, the acting, the the guy that that acted as the alien. He just like sort of like wore a jumpsuit, and like all of those gestures are like him. Like the idea that it's not CG or something like that. It is a guy who is an actor and I think possibly a dancer of some kind, and is just projecting
Right.
physical malice. Oh my god! However,
Schulte's right. He's 100. Let's all agree. Schulte's right. Yet,
Thank you. I needed that.
yet, I will
you
watch
sent those
Aliens.
people out there to die, Burke. What's wrong with you? Why didn't you warn them? Why didn't you warn them, Burke?
So, if I'm completely honest,
Have
I don't think I've seen Alien.
you seen Aliens?
I've seen Aliens, and I would pick it just because Sigourney Weaver is like a good actor.
In both of them.
Well, she's
in
she's also in both of them.
Is she?
She's
Is
in all of
Alien-
them, actually, isn't she?
Is one like a sequel of the other? Or?
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Aliens is the sequel. Yeah.
Yeah. One's a plural.
Or is it
and
the,
one's
is
a
it the
singular.
third one?
Second.
Second.
Is Alien the one where they're on the that's the one where it starts off on the fucking planet with the people in jail, right?
That's
No, that's like
3.
Alien 3, I think.
That's Alien 3, a
Yeah.
legend. So that so my top fact about Alien 3 is it was what's his name? That really good guy. It was his Fincher. It was David Fincher's first movie, right?
Mm.
and it'd been a really troubled production, and they gave it to Fincher, and they were like, "Don't fuck it up," right? And it was apparently a bit of a car crash, but there are still to this day NDAs and things in place. And there's like an interview more recently where somebody asked David Fincher about it, like based on like here's all of the films you've done, right? You know, what do you have any regrets? And he was just like, Alien 3
Really?
shouldn't have been made. Yeah, it wasn't quite like that, but he was more or less like, I can't say anything more about it, but like I had to do it at that point in my career. It did open some doors, but I think as a film, it was just flawed. Like it was something like that. And he was, and there's all the stuff about like, you know, there's like 2 different versions as well that were storyboarded that didn't get made. I think possibly 3 actually. One of them's a graphic novel, which is the William Gibson one. Do you know William Gibson?
No.
What the fuck? You work in crypto and you don't know who William Gibson is?
Maybe.
Neuromancer?
Okay. That sounds familiar.
He has a comic or a graphic novel?
Well, I'm sure there is one of Neuromancer, but so William Gibson was asked to write the script for Alien 3, which it got, then put on a shelf somewhere at whoever made that film, Warner's. And then many, many years later, they made a graphic novel out of the script that was, I guess the option had expired or whatever, and so they were able to do something with it.
I didn't know that.
I know that.
Yeah. It's completely different from the film. It's good. I don't know that it actually solves a lot of the fundamental problems with Alien 3, which is that I don't really think Alien 3 needed to exist. But yeah, William
Here's what I'll
later.
say, though.
What?
Go ahead.
I actually like Prometheus and the other one. I know that they're not the greatest movies of all time, but I actually really enjoyed them, and I'm sad that they haven't continued the story even further.
I was about to say that. I thought some of those later ones had pretty decent reviews, right? Post 3, like Prometheus or whatever.
I think
Prometheus
they're pretty
had some-
well panned.
Oh, they are. Oh,
Yeah,
I thought some of those were
Prometheus
that
had
bad.
some pretty big problems as well. I mean, and
Is
also
it just like because you're following up with Aliens, and so what the hell is that? Is it just because you're following up on those 2 movies, and then so everything looks like shit, or are they actually bad movies?
I think Covenant's quite a good movie.
Yeah, I think so as well. Prometheus did have a lot of like logic issues. I think the one thing that really got them was when the Prometheus is rolling and people are like running in line with it. And I think that just stuck in everyone's head of like, if that happened in the movie, obviously no logic in the movie can be correct.
It was like you knew I was gonna say that fucking bit, and the bit where they're like, "We're like 1,000,000 miles from Earth," and you're like, "Oh, so you're like just before Mars?" there's like a bunch of problems with the script that are like that. They're like, we can't send a message because the distance involved is over 4 million miles or something, and you're like, if you guys haven't figured that out by now, then the entire of the Alien universe does not make any sense.
Alien Resurrection. That's the other one, right? Isn't that one in that situation?
That's Alien 4, isn't it, in the original sequence?
Oh, is it?
It is. That one is fucking shit. That
is it.
I don't even think that really is counted, is it? Like people just say Alien 1, Alien 2, Alien 3, and then they pull a bit of a face at Alien 3, and then
that's it. Is that the last one that Sigourney's in, or is there? Or she even? She's not in those other ones, right? Prometheus.
No, she's not.
Yeah, or she dies in one of them, right?
Predator.
Oh, she dies in one of them.
Dies in 3.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Spoilers. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Master of Command of the ship sinks too, so fuck it.
So which shit?
Let's spoil everything.
Burn it all down.
Well, I was going to say the one good thing. Actually, so Null's comment is appropriate because I think the one good thing that Alien Resurrection brought us was the bit where she finds the lab and there's the hugely mutated Ripley, and it just goes, "Kill me." That's a classic moment.
Like the guy in
one thing that bugs me is that in Metroid they named Ripley after Alien, of course, right? And it always bugs me because I always cross them, or it might be Ridley in order to just kind of play on it a little bit. Not that that's related, but I've been playing the Metroid games lately, and it's in my mind.
Ripley.
Yeah.
Now I'm already looking at reserving spots in this fucking Die Hard Saturday 23rd, 5 p.m. in a small theater that has alcohol. How do you not bring the family?
That's
Bring the
fucking
family.
great. That's awesome. Yeah,
Come on down.
Man, I
that's
want to go see Die Hard now.
and Alien and
Oh,
Aliens.
amazing.
You certainly need to see Alien. We've established that much.
How much are these anyway? $11.
So I was trying to find Slapshot.
Oh, I watched Slap Chop this week.
You watched
It's not
last
on
time.
fucking Netflix, and it's not on Prime.
Ah, you need more legal sources of.
Well, I mean, I hate I don't want to encourage.
I watched it same day. Same day.
Did you?
Yeah.
Good thing we record at 6 a.m. over there. You got late time.
Where
Did you
find
enjoy it?
Ramblers?
I mean,
Did
it was
you
a
like
pretty
70s?
standard fucking
Oh.
80s movie, like 70s movie, maybe. But
That's
did I
quite a
enjoy
review.
it?
That's quite a review.
I mean, I don't. To be honest, I don't see why you were so excited about it.
It's a great movie.
In
My
what way?
expectation is it's going to be pretty much Caddyshack, but without. God, what's the fucking name of the actor? It's fled my mind.
Who? With Bill Murray.
Bill Murray. There we
Oh.
go. I'm kind of expecting more violent Caddyshack, no Bill Murray, and about hockey, not golf.
It's not really. I mean, it's comedy because it's
It's not a comedy.
It's not a comedy. It's not a comedy like in that way. Like it's not like a Caddyshack comedy where. I mean, it's somewhat similar, I guess, but not.
It was
not
like
quite.
subtly funny in certain
Yeah,
ways.
yeah. Like,
Yeah.
like I don't know, just some of those things get burned into your face, like the.
Maybe it hits better if you're like American and understand more of the context of some of the jokes.
Maybe, yeah. But the that clip I said earlier with them on the hair pieces in that thing and the guy playing the organ, and then obviously the Hanson brothers are fucking hilarious. Like that's a great storyline with those three, and listen to the fucking song. There's just good moments in that movie. I didn't say it was
That clip is great. By the
I
way,
didn't say it was fucking Schindler's List. I just said it was a good movie. You know what I mean? Like
It's no Porky's.
I just watched that a couple of weeks ago. Actually, it showed up.
Isn't Porky's like one of those ones like Revenge of the Nerds that has really, really not dated well?
It's
And possibly
just
was
tits.
not
Yes.
good in the first
It is
place.
just tits. That's all.
Porky's
it is.
Porky's
just
2
is.
is even worse that way too. Like
Yeah.
they're all bad.
Excellent.
There is
Wow.
there is no storyline whatsoever. They just do whatever they can to like have an excuse to like show some tits.
Yeah, exactly. I watched the other one I watched this week was Spring Break. Have you guys seen that movie? That is a shit movie. It's a great movie. You should watch it. Spring Break
I
is an
do
amazing
have a
movie.
habit of like searching for videos with a rating of like 12 or 13, somewhere between 10 and fucking 25.
I'm
Of
guessing
what?
that's out of
Oh.
100.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like what's the scale?
it's
Spring
either
Break is a
like
great movie.
so bad it's great, or like,
Uh-huh.
and then there's like all the mediocre ones that are just mediocre, and then you've got your 90 plus ones that are usually pretty good.
I think some of these are also like you see them at very which I'm thinking about with our kids too, is like you see them at very impressionable times. You know what I mean? Like you're old enough where you're starting to explore these feelings, whether it's girls or whether it's this, that, or whatever. And then you see these movies that have like these people going through that same shit. Like Porky's is a good example. And like you just remember that, right? And like so like Slapshot I remember seeing for hundreds of times, like in those early days. Like it was always on TV too. I remember it was like one of those things that always get repeated. And like Spring Break I remember seeing like in high school with friends, and like it's just one of those awful movies that you just love and you just quote to each other over
I
and
think
over.
I was kind of lucky in that like the movies that had kind of were about 5 years old or like 5 to 10 years old that were like just on TV constantly because they were cheap to license by that point was just like Wayne's World and Bill and Ted.
Yeah. Bill and Ted. See, Bill and Ted's a great movie too.
Yeah, I remember like taping. This is to show my fucking age. I remember taping that shit.
Sure.
With Which, because okay, we're all like, sure, we're of an age where we remember like the VHS machine and being like trying to get your dad to help you to fucking get the thing working and then set the timer and all that crap.
Right.
But
Or you'd set the timer and then it would like somebody would fuck it up or they'd pop the tape out or like something else would happen or like
or somebody's just like goes to watch something else and they don't pay attention and it wipes the timer and they're like, oh, was somebody recording something? And you're like, fucking probably. But yeah, fucking Wayne's World, what a film.
That was, I mean, my kids love that movie too because I mean that's a great movie too. I hate to say the word great. That's not really. That is a movie that I enjoy every once in a while. Not a great movie though.
One of my favorite things is so I think Wayne's World 2 is a bit underrated. I actually think it's quite good. But that's the one where that has the great bit where it has the the drug dealer from Withnail and I is just in it as a cameo.
Yep.
That's fucking great. I love that. It's just such a because I feel like wasn't that guy in Withnail and I because he was their drug dealer?
Oh, I don't know. Is that right?
Citation needed on that one, I'm afraid. That might be a Game of Nodes lie. Poorly remembered lie.
Kozless says Betamax was far better than VHS. My dad was a huge Betamax person, so we went through that structure too, where it's quality over quantity, and then next thing you know, we're buying a VHS like 10 years later and throwing all this shit out. But yeah, we were beta
No
house
surprise
too.
that people in Cosmos are like Betamax.
It's funny. Also, Bill and Ted's. Being originally from that region, being set in Chicago, like that also was really close to us too, because all those places they drove, we knew, right? And like that whole idea where that was set, we had some history with, so that actually made it really close too.
So
yeah,
a little bit off topic.
What topic?
You going to talk about news?
You're talking about crypto.
No, I don't know. I was just saying we're gonna I'm going to be doing my first Colo stuff next week, and first time entering
sounds sexual.
Yeah,
it's my first Colo stuff.
First time entering the data center.
Have you been in a data center like that before?
I have, but just as a tour. I went to the M2 in Melbourne.
Cool.
Which is like I sent you photos, I'm pretty sure, while I was there. It's a pretty impressive location.
Yeah.
It's got like the like chill area in M2 is like bigger than my house.
Oh, like a front office type of thing, where the conference rooms and shit type of idea.
So M2 in Melbourne is like enormous. Yeah. And they have so they got the entrance foyer, right? And it's all like security-arized. You have to have your little card in your face to get anywhere in there, and your thumb or whatever. Mm-hmm. Off to the left, you have like offices that you can book and that type of stuff, where you can just go and like work for the day if you want and that type of shit.
Sure.
But off to the right, they've got like, coffee machine, a parts vending machine with like NVMEs and shit in there.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
But then just like this big, like, desks, and it's like really dimly lit, and like got the Nespresso fucking wall of coffee machine type situation going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, like even I'm not sure what they call it, like the cabinet floor or whatever, the cage floor, whatever they call that area with all the servers, is like pretty
server
impressive.
Room?
Sure. Yeah.
Sure.
Whatever it is. And even like the power supplies and stuff there is all modular. Like they've got modular generators. So this place isn't completely built out yet. They've got like a certain amount of capacity now. Mm-hmm. And then as they add capacity, they just add generators and batteries to they just crane them in and drop them on the roof.
Yeah.
And then that's like how they just keep plugging more shit in.
Yeah. Like you run one or you run multiple, and then you have as many spares, and like it just keeps growing that way, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So like as you increase the megawatt capacity of the, like as you get more customers, they just keep adding more shit, so that I guess you don't have all the overhead at the start of the build, like all the capex. But and then they've got like shitloads more property to like build more stuff as well. So it's it's going to be like a big data center. But we're putting our stuff into M1, which is down near the city in
Okay.
Melbourne.
Is that the original one? Is that like smaller or something?
Yeah, it's like smaller. It's near the CBD.
It's from when before they were cool.
Before they were cool, yeah. I got shares in Next DC, man. I reckon they're going to be like they probably already are now the biggest provider in Australia in data centers.
King of the dipshits.
Yeah,
They've got 15 servers.
The biggest
racked
data
up.
center in biggest data center located on this island, 2,000 miles from anywhere.
It's the biggest data center in Mos Eisley Spaceport on Tatooine. It's
Exactly.
massive.
With anywhere you can get a 200 millisecond latency to everywhere in the world. Only here. Sorry. Go ahead.
So anyway, so who I'm buying my colo off is not like the data center itself. It's like I'm going into a rack of an existing customer, like one of their partners.
Yeah, they sublease it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so they're not really in Melbourne though. They're in Sydney or Canberra or something. And so because I'm going to the server room I was going to rack my server, but it's not going to be ready. So someone else is going to rack that a bit later on. But he's sending me like the router and I bought a router and that off him because we didn't have one. So anyway, he's configured that and everything and sending that through. But while I'm there, like he wants me to install some SFPs and stuff into their gear.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, man, the guy's just like super organized. He's like sent me this picture of the switch with like all these diagrams and stuff on it and where to put which SFPs.
Oh, like where you're plugging into and everything?
Yeah, there's like some copper ones and some fiber ones, and he's
You have-
like
you
sent
have a fiber?
a labeled cable for me to plug into my router
Sure,
with like
sure.
the port labeled on both of them. Like so,
Yeah, because they meter all that shit. So I mean, you're probably metered in some, or at least they want to meter it in some sort. Even if you're not doing anything with that meter, you're metered, right? So they're gonna watch that and everything else. Yeah.
he's definitely made it 100%. So I can't fuck this up.
Yet.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna fuck up anyway because my
It's a
cables.
hell of a
haven't-
confident statement.
Where,
They've made it so I cannot in any way fuck up.
but that said, so are you? Where's the fiber going? Is that going in your switch,
So I think.
or did you buy a card,
No,
SPF card for this monster?
it's
you're
a
buying?
copper SFP for my switch. We're only plugging into like a 1 gig port. So
Oh, okay,
um,
gotcha.
yeah.
Cool.
But because my switch is only like a 1 gig switch at this stage, I didn't want to like spend $5,000 on a 10 gig switch or anything.
Those things are cheap. 10 gig switches are cheap, man. 10
10 gig
SPF ports.
switches, but the router, like a decent router with 10 gig in it, is like a little bit more expensive.
Nice. So are you when you get all this shit in?
So I'm gonna rack all this shit on Monday,
Okay.
and get everything set up, and then I guess the following week, we'll get delivery of our server, and hopefully someone at the data center is going to be able to rack that without me having to come back to Melbourne. But yeah, going to use remote hands for that. And
Cool. Well, if you get,
Yeah,
if
but-
you said you're putting up like some sort of thing you can VPN or WireGuard into or something. So as long as that's active and then they plug in IPMI right and everything else, hopefully you can. I mean, issues like IPMI getting an actual DHCP address and you being able to manage that and all that kind of stuff remotely, like that's the only thing that's a little crazy. But everything else.
So
you should be able to do.
everything's already set up in the router. Basically, like we've got a /29. So any one of those ports that you plug into, they're all designated to an IP at this stage. So, if you plug in another server, you just plug it into one of those ports and it'll DHCP its own. It routes to its
Based on the
/29.
port, it's giving you a IP.
Yeah, a
that's
public
interesting.
IP. Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay, cool.
Well, it
Nice.
was just it was the easiest way to set it up now.
Yeah, I've
is
never heard of that
foolproof,
before.
that even if old mate plugs it into the wrong hole. So the plan is to have the cables there labeled and it'll be like, ETH0
Sure.
IPMI and then your redundant power.
Yeah.
And except I don't have redundant power for the switch. It would have been nice if the provider switch had PoE on it, because the switch I've got takes PoE in.
Yeah, they won't do that.
No, it's a Juniper switch. It's like baller shit.
That's usually data center switches, unless you're supporting APs or something. You're not going to have PoE in those situations. But
Yeah, because I don't get the power redundancy out of my router because it's only got one power in.
yeah, but again, that's a pretty small. But like we talked about before, keep important shit off that router, and so it's just management. So if that goes down, you're not like missing sign blocks, or you're not doing whatever else, right? So
Yeah, I mean this server is not doing any mission critical stuff anyway.
right,
So.
right. It could always catch up, right? Like even if it's down, you could always it's just gonna, whenever it comes back, it'll just sync up and you're fine. So
yeah, it's archives. It is just too expensive to rent storage once you start getting over like 10, 15 terabytes.
yes,
So especially fast storage. So you really have to start buying that stuff. And I'm
Cool.
really not looking forward to when those things start to crap out after a year or two.
they will.
But like these ones have got a ride endurance of 1.3 for 5 years. So
Doesn't matter.
yeah, hopefully they last
They
a
all
while.
they all fail. They
Yeah.
all fail.
It's all just statistics, isn't it?
Yeah, we've had so many NVMe's fail. Like we've had such. SSD's been far more reliable, but we've had so much fucking NVMe issues. But whatever.
So they like these ones have got a 5-year warranty, I think. So if they crap out, it's just a swap job. But
It's still annoying on the day it happens, though.
As
Like,
long as there's redundancy, as long as all those things.
yeah, there's like a spare drive, so it'll be able to resilver if it's if one drops out. But
It's good.
yeah, I
Cool.
wasn't able to get a 2U chassis though, which is kind of annoying. There's just not enough. There's no 2U chassis available at the moment
What?
in the configuration that I wanted. It's just the 24 drive.
the drive array.
Yeah, like a chassis with 24 U.2s just wasn't really available at the moment.
So this is, I'm guessing this is probably 8.
12
Oh, in one U?
in one U.
Oh,
yeah.
that's good. Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, so this is so I looked up this chassis. It's pretty cost effective chassis. It's like, but it's really high quality. And you identified the motherboard in it there before, Usurper, and I think that's a pretty high quality motherboard. I think those guys are doing good
Tyan.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tyan. I looked up a bit more information on them and some reviews, and yeah, apparently it's like really high quality shit. So
I mean, for this one, you just want stability. That's all you care about, right? So you're not like burning the edge here, or not worried about
Well,
like whatever.
stability and like performance from those drives, because we're paying a lot of money for those drives. So I want to be able to like get the best out of them, because they're not like they're going to be doing, you know, I'm going to be using quite a few IOPS on those things at the end of the day, because there's multiple, you know, operations.
I love the
going around in that
understatement.
same
Of,
array.
it's going to be doing a few IOPS.
Some IOPS.
It's going to be doing
It'll be
some.
doing some
One or
IOPS.
two.
It's going to be doing a few.
One or two.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess we'll see. It's the first go at the owned bare metal. I don't know if I will still fit like Jacob's box though, because it's in a data center. So
One more time.
you know Jacob's box.
No.
It has to be like cell phone running under your desk in the office.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, quality node operators.
consumer internet.
Data centers are so centralized, man.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
I mean, their business practices have led them to success after success.
Obvious success.
Aye.
Hey.
Ah.
Oh god.
So what on that? I know we were kind of talking about it last week, and the whole devs thing and whatnot. Has anything more developed out of that mess? Is anybody doing
Don't
Go
know.
Mod
I
5
haven't-
on Hub?
I'm not sure. I haven't seen even Jacob on Twitter anymore, so I don't know.
Didn't he
Maybe,
close
like,
that account and then
maybe-
reopen it or something though?
Are
Why
they
care?
nuked
Why
or
did I even
something? I
ask
don't
that
know.
question?
All I saw is that it went up from 13 engineers at the time of last show to 16 engineers. So there were
he's back.
three more added their names, I think, to the we've resigned pile.
Yeah, I think there was like virtually nothing left either. So I don't know.
I bet that guy Lit was probably still there.
The governance guy.
Decommissioning all validators though is something.
So did they just? So because we were talking about this in the chat. They've left a grace period, right?
I
don't think so. A lot of the validators are just shut down. Like you can look on Injective and a handful of others, and they just close them down.
Motherfucker. Sorry, I just got an email. They're shipping a fucking cable this big from Western Australia, like the other side of the country.
and
I need it on Friday.
that cable doesn't exist in the whole city.
I can literally go down and buy it at fucking probably like
You gotta go in there anyway Monday, right? Just bring it.
Store. It's probably in the vending machine at the fucking data center. Like,
Well, now that you own hardware in these data centers, you get to realize you get to carry these things on your person at all times. So go get one of those cables. Go get somewhere your bullshit Chinese SSD drives or whatever you got, and then buy some fans
And a bigger
some
rucksack.
screwdrivers.
Put it all in.
Take a laptop. You're gonna need some sort of structure to get in your little MikroTik or whatever. Like you gotta get a go
yeah,
bag
I'm
now.
gonna need one of those Wi-Fi dongles, right?
No. What Wi-Fi?
A phone with dual SIM will do it. No.
For what?
To plug into the LAN from a laptop.
Uh.
Does your
Anyway.
laptop have LAN?
Oh, you mean okay? You said Wi-Fi dongle, which is not what that is, but you mean like an Ethernet dongle? Yes.
Oh,
an
sorry.
Ethernet
Did I
dongle.
say Wi-Fi? I meant Ethernet.
You did, yeah. Like a little Ethernet dongle, yeah, something like that. You're gonna need sure.
We're gonna need a little bag of shit for the DC.
Some earplugs.
Some earplugs, yeah. The spare fans, spare fans. For the...
Yeah,
Whole
All
bunch
that
of
thing.
fans.
Yep. Screwdrivers, like a little toolkit you gotta have on you because you get in there and you realize you can't open a fucking case because you gotta replace a drive. You're like, oh my god, I can't believe I can't open this case. All these good times.
What? Your cases have screws?
Yeah, you will. You gotta if you have a drive in a sled, you gotta pull out and replace that drive. Yeah, it's gonna have small Phillips head screws in it. Yeah, of course.
Oh yeah, in this. Well, I think all of my I think these ones are toolless, but definitely in my Dell, there is, the screws holding those in the sleds. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Mm.
Jailings, eh? How about that?
Yeah.
Schultzy, tell us about the Fetch AI one. Was it you were talking about that?
I don't know too much about it. I'm not on Fetch. I just saw Twitter post about it that it was, I think at the time, the biggest slacking event so far, which was a $75,000 slacking event because it was a tombstone.
It was a tombstone?
$75,000. It was a tombstone. Yeah. So
Hey.
$25,000.
Switch back. No way! Damn it! I was just looking for it. Switch back to your other mic. I'd rather have it be miserable than that.
Yeah, that whatever mic you were just using was all choppy, so headphones it is.
You need to buy a cable too.
Is this one? I actually ordered the cable as we were
You
here.
did. Yes, you're on here.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Does this one sound all right? At least. for
Yeah,
now?
it's good enough. Sure.
Perfect.
Maybe just turn it up a little.
You can get a word in between the memes.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was on Fetch.
Can you just turn it up a little bit, Schultzy?
Turn it up.
I got you.
will-
Keep going.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So it was on Fetch. And as far as I know, he hasn't put out any statement, or the validator hasn't put out any statement about like doing refunds or anything. It's just like it happened, and then that meme of Homer kind of entering the bush. That's what it seems like it went.
That's like, is he like a single network validator type situation?
I don't recognize the name, but Fetch has a lot of validators that I don't recognize. So
Yeah, I think
Maybe.
that's like the move for the single network validators who don't really have too much of a brand, which is kind of done if they tombstone anyway, and then they're just like,
See you, bro.
And then
Yeah,
there's
there's
like
no-
another validator just appears.
There's no website or anything, so I'm guessing that's what happened. Yeah.
So was it?
so
So there's no response to that or anything else, right? There wasn't like a oh shit, we moved the server and something happened.
Not that I've seen. No
Nothing.
response that I've seen.
And what was the dollar amount?
$75,000.
Wow, pretty
Yeah.
significant.
Especially in this
Yeah.
market. That's
Yeah,
like,
seriously.
I mean, isn't
Yep.
that like half of the TVL in the whole of Cosmos?
What is that? What's the fetch? Seriously, what's the fetch? Is that 1% or 10% or what was the
Let's see.
what was the slash there? Pretty
not
significant,
sure.
man. Was,
I don't know.
Was this like a top 20 val or something?
I think it was. Yeah.
Wow. Well, pour one out for the homies.
Yeah, that's right.
What was it? What was that
so-
name? Oh, we don't know what that name was.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I can pull up the name. Hold on.
Oh, somebody
on
just
Tombstones,
redelegated 13 fetch to them 10 hours ago.
Ooh,
Nice.
nice.
Yeah, nice. Nice.
You know, they obviously oh, what's the fucking thing I'm thinking of? It's the Soviet military doctrine, isn't it? Never reinforce defeat. Obviously, this
That's right.
that person doesn't agree with that. They're like, I fancy my chances.
They have let's see, they have about $6,000 staked themselves, not too much. I do see the send command, and then I see an unjail failed, and then realization hits, and then 10 minutes after that, they sent out some tokens away from the val. So yeah, I'm thinking they're probably undelegating all this stuff.
And then there's a bunch of edit validators immediately.
Yeah. What to their credit, at least they put like please redelegate and everything else on the name, like
Yeah. for
something
sure.
associated. So when somebody does a restake, you would hope that they would see that. But well,
It looks like they did do a multi-send, but it's very clearly not for the amount that was slashed. Looks like they sent,
10.
yeah, not a whole lot.
I see
Less
10.
than-
Yeah, I see 10 to 1 delegator. It looks like.
No,
And
there's more than that. Oh, there was a stake drop. Oh, Christ. So that means this guy was running promotions to get more delegators, and then he immediately got tombstoned. This happened before the actual tombstoning.
Oh dang.
Oh wait. Oh, I'm
Uh,
looking. Oh, you're right. I'm looking at unjail. That's not the. They ran it multiple times. It looks like. Too funny. Oh well.
So there was another tombstone on DYDX, second tombstone. One of the higher ranked validators at the time as well. So
I was looking for it again. Good find.
actually, we need to petition.
We haven't done it. I mean,
put a shortcut to that.
we can do it all day
Yeah.
because we haven't done this. We haven't done that video in like a while. So I'm happy to splice those in. Who was it on DYDX?
Tane?
Tane, yeah, Tane. I'm not. Yeah, well, it is. They're Japanese, I think. So
So yeah, I think it's Tane.
yeah.
Tell us about Tane.
Yeah, but just a mistake, I guess. While they were migrating servers, I think that the DYDX devs might have done operators an injustice during the testnet by having tombstoning turned off during the testnet phase.
Yeah.
So I think people may think they can do things that they can't do.
Wait. So you can disable the double sign. I understand that you can't. I mean, I understand that you can. They didn't get slashed or anything here, right? Just tombstone, but they actually disabled the ability to double sign, so they had nothing associated to that.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can double
Akash does it as
sign.
well.
Yeah.
Akash
I
will
know-
pop up in the logs that the Byzantine attempt has been made, whatever. But you don't get jailed, you don't get slashed for it or anything.
Really? Oh, I had no
Yeah.
idea. That's interesting. So it just ignores it completely. Like you just sit there and whatever, right? Multiple nodes all signing at the same time. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, I did it.
I remember you saying
Really?
you did it. Yeah. I remember yeah.
I did it by accident, but
That's
I did it.
It's a
I
proud day.
actually I called the dev and I'm like, double sign doesn't work on this network. Or...
like I was testing. I was testing double sign.
I was testing some shit, and
I was testing your double sign.
I was moving servers around with a callous disregard for security.
That's a test net. Boys will be boys, right?
Boys will be boys.
Boys will be boys.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, and then they're like, yeah, no, it's let's turn that off. I'm like, huh, no shit. Yeah,
Super
put in
funny.
some PRs around the fucking cosmos. So I guess other notable slashings, not necessarily not tombstoning, but slashings on Injective. Couple of larger slashings in the last week or two, but just yesterday, Binance got a Peggy slashing, which was roughly equivalent to around 100 grand, about 4,200 Injective slashed, which is
Wow.
That's a fucking kick in the nuts.
So I wonder where that comes from. What do you think they do with that?
Huge.
Because that
Well,
you would
I
think-
Nothing.
mean-
I don't think they do anything. I
you
think
think-
they go, I'm going to spool it back up and call it good.
like
Yeah, like
So
it's
where do-
custodial, right? So it's not a problem until everyone withdraws their INJ.
but they're still responsible for an APR, right? So they just pull that out of the APR because the number's lower.
Well, their APR is already less because they
Right,
take
yeah.
sort of
So
cream
they just
off
take it out of the
profit.
profit, right? So they just stake less. They're
I mean,
paying
they would
delegators.
just take less profit, I guess. Yeah.
I think they hedge their own risk against you not making as much money as a staker.
Right,
And you think
right.
about like Kraken, I think offers you like 5% on. I can't remember. Like it's like it's a substantial margin between what the network offers and what they offer you.
Right.
That's pretty appalling.
That's great. That's crazy. That's great.
I
So
think
they
it
s-
makes sense.
No, they're regulated, man, or at least well, some
What
of
does
them
being regulated
somewhat.
have to do with like taking
Some of them
50%
are
of
somewhat
the profit?
regulated.
What?
I mean, they pull profit out. So basically, that's all synthetic, right? They're just doing synthetic distributions back to those quote unquote those stakeholders, right?
Yeah.
They pull that out, so they get slashed 10%. They basically pull that out of their margin. I wonder if they pass that along. I wonder if they do something within that.
No, they wouldn't.
You think they would just lower the amount? Why wouldn't they just lower the amount? They're in control of what amount goes back to the staker, right? So
Yeah, but I'm sure like on their website they would have something like stake INJ for 5%. Fucking woohoo.
I mean,
And then-
4.9%.
Yeah, but then
Yeah.
like, over time they can just absorb that anyway. It doesn't matter. It's like
Yeah, that's
they're
interesting.
already taking half of the profit.
I mean,
so
100,000 for them is nothing, so it's not a big deal. But
Yeah. Well, someone was it you, Shieldsy, pointed out to me that they just like walked off at fucking 4 billion. So,
What?
well, they're fine of 4 billion.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. For the
Jeez.
SEC. And they're just like, we're good.
that's
Deuces.
fine.
Yeah.
That's it.
We're financially stable.
Only 4? Did you say 4? Wait, was that a B or T? Oh, B. Good. Okay. Yeah. All good. No
Thought we
problem.
were gonna have to sell some shit.
I thought we might have to actually do something here. Never mind. It's all good.
That's okay. Let me go get my purse.
A 20's okay. You bring a bag with you. Yeah. Is there
So-
a truck out back, or like how are we gonna do this?
There was another one too, wasn't there? Or do we do them all?
Wait,
Stormy.
what the fuck?
Was there another tombstone this week?
Ben Davis says, "Wait,
did I-
was null slashed recently?"
Did I just have a
Yeah,
hemorrhage?
I
Or
was,
Did it just rain
fuckface.
on null
Thank you.
for a second? There?
Hey?
What the
Yeah.
fuck?
We,
I got slashed for that
yes.
feeder.
It's stormy.
What the fuck?
Some
Um,
advanced podcast shit going on in here.
For those listening later on podcast players, I have literally no idea what's going on there. But
What's really good is that like when somebody
Yep.
tombstones, you could also do like, hey, there we go. Just celebrate.
Wow.
Let's celebrate, baby. Who tombstoned
Wow.
today?
It'd
Yeah,
be
anyway,
more of
so-
a celebration, right? Oh wait, that was
Yeah.
the wrong one. I meant this one.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
So anyway, on my slash on Kuji, if anybody knows of like a Kuji archive, so I can do a slash refund, that'd be great. We had to unbind Kuji to like have it there to give back to people, but in hindsight, I should have bought some because I didn't realize that the data would be unavailable to be able to do the refund. So Schultze has supplied a very beautiful script that I, in hindsight, could have run back then to get the Schultze like to do the transaction, right? And then I could have probably have broadcast it later on.
Yeah, you can build them all out and then broadcast them later for sure.
So I do think though that when you do an offline transaction, there's like a time in there, but I guess you could just change that manually before you sign it or whatever.
Well, you couldn't change it manually because it would already be there'd already be a signature too, so you couldn't really change it. But what the script does actually is creates a JSON file which is before you sign, just like as an upload. But you could create those JSON files and then sign them and then send them. So that would have worked fine.
Yeah, well, I should have done that. Where was the heads up, man? Sorry, I thought that would have just like done it all and sent it, but I guess that's probably good that it doesn't in case you fuck it up. So give you a chance to check it.
Yeah, it's so that you can do dry runs where you just kind of go all the way to this, like, except for the last step where it actually sends it out.
That was a good Tombstone run. I enjoy a good slash, I gotta say.
You know, here's what I'll say about the one on DYDX.
Good slash, just
somebody else. I mean,
a bot that tells you the Peggy slashes on Injective. You'll get daily alerts.
I also
really is that many?
Yeah. Well, I added it up yesterday. So far this month, there's been 170 grand in Peggy slashings on Injective, and like there's a lot of them are like good operators too.
I mean, to be honest, and that Pego thing is useless, right? Like it's a completely distributed system that doesn't require that much structure around it where that much loss has to happen. Like, is that number one, is that slashing in the control of the operator at a level? And number two, is it worthwhile losing that much funds based on the outcome?
Is it in control? Yes, but like the software takes a lot of babysitting.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard, I don't run it, so I can say this. I've heard it's a piece of shit. And so when it's a piece of shit, that a lot of times it's not just based on operator competence, it's a series of black magic bullshit to get actually to do it what you want. And the config changes and it's not communicated well. And so you have to be on top of it, but it's not be on top of it because it's well communicated. It's on top of it because it's like, it always breaks. And it's just, you just got to know what the hell you're doing with it.
You have just described most of crypto, mind you. Like just random things configured with random things, and if you don't,
but this is like on the edge of
unless
I'm
you
in core blockchain, like it's just like anyway. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. Like 2 years ago, like the amount of random changes you had to make in the TOML files and whatnot, where it was like, oh yeah, and you've got to remember that if you put blah 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 in blah 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 section, it will of course blow up and you will double sign. But if you put a white space or an empty string, it will just truck on. Fucking no worries, boys be boys. Like,
hold on, let me interject just a little bit. Don't forget about capitalizing upgrade names for Cosmovisor, which breaks the upgrade. That one has just happened again. Or spaces. Yeah.
Right. So we put spaces
by that, didn't we?
This is the version space. Yeah.
Hey.
Hey.
Oh, hang on. What were we talking about before you guys just went off on a fucking tangent?
I was bitching about.
Pego.
Pego.
Pego is not hard to run itself. It is just it fails under a lot of different circumstances. But the
like if you blink, it fails.
Like say Price Feeder. That's a good example too. Like Price Feeders, the UMI Price Feeder, and that structure is also similar to that.
I think those are more reliable.
Oh, that's saying something.
So Pego, like if you for example, if it loses contact with your gRPC for a split second, it seems to like hang.
Yeah.
And just random stuff like that. It doesn't like give you logs that make a lot of sense in some cases. Like if you run out of gas token, it doesn't really tell you anything like that.
You're right. What it tells you is that there are no transactions to be found on Ethereum if you run out of gas,
Yeah,
which is helpful. Of
That's
course.
helpful. Ethereum's just dead. Nobody uses that shit. I'm sure I get confused with that.
I mean, yeah.
So it's it's when people get errors, they're like, "What is this?" And you're like, "Have you checked this? Have you checked that?" Because the errors make no fucking sense in a lot of cases. So
Right.
yeah, but I mean, the main things are for Pego is that your gRPC is working, and if it is, restart your thing, and if it might start working again. If it doesn't, check if you've got gas. If that's the case, and it's still not working, and it was before, like I don't know what's wrong with it.
Is there a contract where Kujira repays you guys for gas associated to those Pego transactions, or no?
No.
Kujira? Injective.
I'm sorry, Injective. So there's nothing there related to like what do they call it?
It's pretty cheap. Like it doesn't use a lot of gas.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You
Well, that's really exciting.
Schultz, you just did that back to front. You muted yourself, said something, and then like unmuted yourself.
Hey, you're right. I did, didn't I? So that means my clicking was probably making noises.
Yeah. So no, like if you fund it with one injective, that's going to last you like probably a month. But I mean, just put 10 or 20. Like it's better to not run out of gas. And monitoring it is, it seems like people aren't effectively monitoring it, but it's not that difficult. There are a lot of different parameters that you can monitor, and a lot of them don't matter. The only ones you need to know is if you're on the latest nonce, and if you're not, how far behind you are, or how long since you did your last nonce.
The only thing that matters is how long since your last nonce. I talked to the team about it. So there's very little information about how you can be slashed on it. The only thing that matters, in bold, underline, is if your nonce is increasing over time. Doesn't matter how far behind you are. Doesn't matter anything
You have
except
to do
if
one
you're
at least
increasing over
every
time.
25,000 blocks.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. So I did notice
Which is
that-
about 6 hours for the record.
Oh,
yeah, 6 to 7 hours. So I did notice that AutoStake has an enormous nonce lag, and I don't think it increases at all. I think they just haven't fixed it after. Do you remember a while ago there was a nonce problem? And then they fixed it. And I think since they fixed it, I'm not sure that they've done anything to fix their Pego. And I think they haven't incremented since that issue. And I think they might be like in a little box of not mattering. Does that make sense? Like
I think all nodes is in the same state. Yeah, because they're missing like 12,000 or something.
not AutoStake, all nodes. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think if they never do a Pego transaction again, they will be in their nice little box of never being able to be slashed.
I mean, honestly, at all times, we all feel like we're in a box of not mattering, right?
Yeah.
Or is it just me? Is it me?
So I wonder, Schultz, if they actually leave if they get knocked out of the val set, for example, and then come back in, if it will then fix that. So there is one poor validator that just gets slashed all the time for Pego because they're like they teeter-totter in and out of the because you've only got 6 hours, right? And so when someone gets jailed, they always get promoted and then they get jailed, if that makes sense, because they're
seriously that's
because you have to restart Pego once you get in the active set, right? Because it doesn't process transactions out of it, and once you get in the set, you have to restart it to make it work. And then so they keep getting promoted and jailed, promoted and jailed, promoted and jailed. I've seen it probably 20 times.
That poor schmuck.
So
It's definitely one of those situations where obviously the foundation engineers, everybody doesn't give a fuck about that particular situation, that particular edge case. And like a lot of people would be like, well, economic incentives come into play here. They could just work out a way of monitoring it and restarting it. It's like, yeah, maybe in a bull market.
I mean,
in a bear market.
You could write a script in 10 minutes to like detect that it's not doing anything and restart it.
Or
Yeah.
just run cron tab, which is what we do. Cron tab every hour.
Just
I'm
reboot
listening, just reboot it every hour. Yeah.
Have you tried turning it off and turning it on again? Yes. 24 times a day.
Yeah, exactly. It was every 2 hours, and that wasn't enough. Because then Noel was getting alarms.
That reminds me
Yeah,
of,
because
yeah.
I monitor like a couple of people's pegos who I care about. And Schultze is like one of said people that I monitor for just as a backstop in case there's something wrong with his monitoring at some point. And I had to change my monitoring template just to account for his fucking teeter-tottering over the like catching up and lagging and catching up and lagging. So
We're doing all the best practices. It just stops. I don't know.
Whatever
So-
works, right?
Schultze, like the hour that it restarts on is like enough to get 5+ behind. So I was like, this is kind of annoying, waking me up at 2 o'clock in the morning for a Schultze thing.
Schultze's fucking
So I
pego.
increased it to 20, and then like half an hour later, I'm getting alerted again, and I'm like 40. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure like there's more than 40 in 7 hours or 6 hours, so it should be fine. But
Well, it's all about how many bridges are brought in, right? So like what I'm doing is I'm calculating the slope of the nonce over time, and if it's not increasing given a certain amount of slope, then I don't alert. Cause I'm like, eh. And then once it breaks over a certain point, it'll start alerting.
Oh my goodness.
it's pretty
Love,
like
love,
a lot of
love.
time.
Blockchain people.
yeah.
Ta-da!
Baby.
This is the
So-
future we're building.
ever since I
tab
wrote
reboot.
Baby's first bash script a little while ago, I'm just
Yeah.
like bash scripting everything.
That's great.
You're at a dangerous
Oh my
spot,
God.
and I
You
hope
are.
that-
You are.
I hope that when your bash script finally bites you, it is on a situation that is easily recoverable and not financially risky.
My bash scripts all report. They're like all talk back to the little reporter if they don't check in, or if there's an error, they get.
So what I really am talking about is the fact that obviously it's bash, which is specifically bash script rather than a shell script for some other shell, right?
It's notoriously reliable.
But the notorious reliability and lack of edge cases in the bash language and runtime, kind of a rite of passage to get fucked raw by bash at some point.
Disagree.
Are you suggesting that we should be doing ZSH scripts?
It is
Well,
the-
Usurper's just like disagree. Sorry, Usurper, have you never been stung by a bash script in your career?
not mine. Nulls, yeah. It's the most reliable thing that exists in life is bash script cron jobs. There's nothing more. Everything else is
Yeah,
just,
no, I'm talking. I'm not talking about like.
Do you mean
fucking
like-
bash script cron job?
Yeah,
I'm not,
yeah.
I'm not talking about like, the stuff that we have a
Yes.
heartbeat that goes through our nodes on a cron job. Like, obviously, that's not going to fail. It's a 3-line bash script that says curl some stuff, right? But I mean, as soon as you try and do a bash script that does some stuff, right?
My bash
It
scripts
calls
do
some
some stuff.
stuff. It
Yes.
JQs some stuff. It wrangles a bit of data. It maybe writes via CLI to something. Yeah, then you're going to get fucked. Like
You
then
can
it's-
do error handling though, so
It's not so much error. Sometimes, to Null's point, like I write same thing that he does. Like you write it where it kicks out to something to say, "Hey, I started. Hey, I stopped." And if that thing fails, then you know that it failed. That's one thing. But friend of the show, Whisper Nodes, which I think Brendan might be in the chat still. I know that they got caught up on something that happened. If I remember, like a few months ago, where they had a bash script that ran so good that they forgot that it was running, and the fact that it ran fucked something else up. Right now that situation,
Good.
that situation, it's so fucking reliable that it fucks you up down the road. I could totally see that happening. I think
I
that's what you're talking
remember
about, Alex. Yeah.
I can't remember what it was though. I remember that.
It was Ghost. It was like something where I forget what it was, but it was like restarting a node based on some sort of structure similar to what Schultz's 1 hour thing. But that screwed them up because it wasn't like it didn't make any harm or something, but it was like something that like the node wouldn't catch up or something was goofy and they couldn't figure out why. And they realized it was like a cron job running from like 1984 that was still going and like executing the way it should have. And so it was. Yeah.
Well, that's also why one of the most famous tombstones happened of, what is it, Notice?
Yes.
Who had like 10 tombstones all together.
That's right.
Because he was taking snapshots using his validator and he migrated all off. And then his snapshots kicked on and turned on his nodes.
That's right.
And then
That's right. And it was that was another one that moved it to Horcrux, but then they had a cron job to reboot the node every 24 hours, and so the original node that they turned off still had the keys on it, and so at the 24-hour mark it re-kicked off and it just double signed like right away.
Yeah.
It's fucking beautiful. Restart scripts are
well, I would
dangerous for
say
sure.
don't script anything on a validator. Like it's pretty like
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, I don't think we do
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, that's pretty ballsy.
I don't think we do anything. The only thing we clear WASM caches and reboot and restarts and stuff like that, but that's pretty much it. I don't think we do anything else. Like
To
that.
be fair, any of that kind of stuff we do manually or we do via Ansible because it just has to.
Well, Ansible, you can get all sorts of different troubles
well,
with
let
that
me
shit too.
let me be
But you know, I've got into the situation before where we've nuked a production. Like I think one of the I think the spiciest bash fuck up was the error handling on a large scale, very popular database. This was, bear in mind, nearly 10 years ago. In a certain edge case, when it errored out while flushing to disk, it did not return the expected Unix error code. It returned some other fucking code, which meant that you couldn't rely on the error handling in your bash script. And so what happened essentially was it just it basically hung infinitely while sort of dumping a backup. But while the backup should have been pretty quick, like 5 seconds or something, right? So it was something like it hung. So there was a switcheroo that happened if one was down, but it wasn't down, it was just hung, and the error code never returned an error. So it didn't go, oh, HA over to the one that was live, the B copy, the A is down. It just went, oh, at the moment the A is just doing a routine thing. Maybe it's garbage collecting. I'm sure it'll only take a second or two, but you know, if it doesn't send out an error code, then it's probably fine. And there's no additional check in line in a bash script to be like, oh, I'll just sleep 10 and see if the thing happened, because obviously not. It's still hung on the first thing, and so the production database was just locked up. It was like, what the fuck? Why is this endpoint not returning? Why is this entire site and system down? And then we had to just like SSH onto a bunch of boxes and just be like, the B copy's fine. Why is the B copy not running? What the fuck? And then eventually you find this hanging cron job where it's like, you know, some PID has been running for 18 hours and you're like,
18 days.
Yeah, something has gone badly wrong with this database backup, and for some reason no further action has been taken by anything. Yeah, but it wasn't the end of the world. Because it was only open data and nobody ever fucking looks at that half the time. So, brutally honest, yeah. If you're a government, right? If you're a government and you want to hide shit, if you're a government,
that a SETI could have fucking taken care of.
SETI.
If you're a government and you want to hide some stuff, right, that you don't want people to know about, the best way you can do it is publish it as open data.
Is learn bash.
SET-E for life.
Put it on the internet and trust that nobody will ever bother to fucking look it up.
Bash-E for life, baby.
Oh, that's so funny.
You'll get fucked one day.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah,
that's okay.
But it'll be non-critical.
It's all right.
So.
Yeah,
it'll be fine.
I mean, we run archives too. We have so many, like, our scripts are so fucking the same type of thing. Like it's a delicate balance of trying to get these things snapshot and get them off. And
I think the
sure we're not saving
thing we do is like deleting ZFS snapshots with the script.
Yeah, same with ours. Yeah,
But
because
that seems to work pretty good. So
when it works.
yeah, you're just like, ah. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think they were pretty reliable, to be honest. Like, it's pretty repeatable. Seems to be.
Oh, they're definitely reliable. That's what
Yeah.
we're just saying. It's like sometimes it can be a little bit too reliable.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How's your a Leo been going?
Our
So-
Aleo,
Aleo?
I see a lot of talk about the issues associated to those nodes halting. Ours also gives up the ghost every 12 hours or less and all that kind of stuff. So I'm using your bash script to identify if it's moving, and if not, it's restarting, and that is helping. Like, it is keeping it up on point, and it is staying at the head, so it's doing pretty well. It doesn't report block height very regularly. Like, my graphs look like shit, but it is actually keeping up, and the last 10 hours actually been pretty solid. So I don't know if something's changing with that as well. I haven't rebuilt that. I mean, I'm just pulling off the latest commit on that branch, and hopefully it, so I do see some changes in there. I do hope that this will get solved and we can move on to something more pressing than this issue.
You guys need to share
yeah.
your Zabbix config for it. I want your template.
Sure, man.
Do you use Zabbix?
Yeah, I use Zabbix for most monitoring. So like,
Oh.
I use Zabbix for monitoring most like server infrastructure, and then
Mhm.
Grafana Prometheus for like specific things generally. So normally I would use Grafana Prometheus for Aleo, but if you guys already have a template, then
I do. Yeah.
Hey man, we'll bring
We'll
you
invite
into
you.
the
Bring you into the fold, brother.
Zabberator private repo.
Bring into the fold.
what?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a private. Oh my
There
god.
is, of course.
I
There's always a
didn't
private
know
repo,
that
right?
you're a Zabbix man.
Yeah.
I
I
moved.
say Zabbix all the time, and no one chimes in and is like, "Yeah, man."
I know he
use
sucked.
Zabbix."
He sucked me. Well, that's weird. He pulled me into the
Hold
Zabbix.
up.
What I was pulling in, what I've been doing is similar to you. I like all my alerting. I'm trying to get into Zabbix. I'm trying to get everything into Zabbix. I still have a bunch of stuff that's still in Grafana. So I'm trying to use Grafana for metrics and Zabbix for notifications. This is kind of my goal.
Grafana alerting is dog shit.
I just don't trust it, and
Yeah.
like it's either too much or too little, and like I just really struggle with, and some of it works really well, like say price feeders and shit like that. Like those are still fine, but I am trying to move everything into Zabbix that way, and then that allows me to monitor like just all the other stuff like Docker and SmartD and like everything else because we track a bunch of hardware shit and everything else. But yeah, I'm starting to do that more and more. I just actually added 40 frickin' L1 and L2 nodes on the Ethereum side for all our shit there too, which is such a pain in the ass.
So my game plan was start using Zabbix, get some MVP templates on it, shill it to the gang until they start using it, and do vastly better shit than me to be able to get back off them.
To be honest,